So we will start. Are you all able to hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. I hope everyone is well. So we will continue from where we were yesterday. But first, I would like to. I'm sorry. I noticed that some of you, when you start Elbus, are getting a message about the dealer information. So I just want to show you how to get rid of that. So there is no dealer information file on the server. We would like to enter the information now. So if you want to get rid of it, you have to say yes. You'll have to enter the information of your company. So that will have to be done for every customer. Of course, we will have to put a phone number. Let me just add someone that is joining. It won't be too long. Phone number. The dealer email. That's the office phone number if you're wondering, and that's the support phone number. But at the end of the training on Friday afternoon, I will send you all an email with all the information to reach us if you need. So when you're done, you can do OK. Of course, well, of course not. If you enter only, let's say, one or try to fill out the field, the system will tell you that the phone number is not matching what it should be. So make sure that you put on the complete information there. And OK, and after that, this message will stop. So today we will mostly be seeing the cost vendor inventory information. I will also show you some reports and the journal tracker module. I will just mute some of you that are not on mute right now. I can hear some back noise. I'm seeing from Brad an error. Limit has been reached. Please. Wow, that's interesting. Internal and expression service limited. Wow, I never. This error doesn't tell me anything from like that. Yeah, I'll be curious to find out what it is. Maybe we have something in our knowledge base. I'll take a look at the break if it's okay with you. So we will start by going to maintenance. So again, we have to log in. Items. Oh. So for the, I don't know if you can see my mouse today. Otherwise, I will still use the control if it's to point where I'm going, to do my best to think about it. So to start, we will work with the PLU vendor window. So that's in maintenance at the top, PLU and vendor. That's where we can create the vendors for our items. Most of the fields are self-explanatory. I'm getting a POS setup error. Yeah, Brendan, I'm sorry. That's really bizarre. It's like if you install a different version of the POS or the LBUS. Did you try to do an update or to downgrade the version, or do you have multiple LBUS or LPUS on your computer? Because that will be for sure something that we can look at the break. That's very uncommon. And if we don't have time during break, maybe if you want to take a break, you can always give me a call at 4 when we will be done, or tomorrow morning. I will be available too. So just to continue with the vendors. So to create a new vendors, again, we have the option to either type the number in the field or use the plus at the top, the yellow, the red plus. I'm sorry. So we can copy from an existing one or create a new one. Vendor name is the vendor name. So here we can create graft if we want, contact name, address, etc. So city, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the following prompt. The email address, if you have an order or receiving, well, not a receiving, mostly an order, and you want to send it by email to your vendor directly, you can use it will use the email field that you have here. So the email field will work to email the order to the vendor directly. At the bottom here, we have the available region. For a single store situation, the region will always be all. In the only situation where we will use a different region, it is when you will be using a multi-store. So let's say you have a price for the West Coast, a price, well, not a price, I'm sorry, a cost for the West Coast, a cost for the East Coast, or a different cost for the middle. So you can define in the middle. So Kraft is selling the, and I need to find an item that is shared between the two countries. So let's say they are, well, not peanut butter, they are not doing it in the US. So let's say we are talking about here at Kraft cheese that they will be selling. Depending if you're on the West Coast or the East Coast, if you have a multi-store situation and you have store across the country, you will need to you will have different costs based on the location. I'm pretty sure the price of the Kraft cheese will not be the same in New York or if you're living in Anchorage, Alaska, since it's further away from everything. So using the multi-store, you can define your price, your cost region, I'm sorry, and assign each vendor to a specific region. This way, for a specific location, they will be using the cost that is assigned to them, and they will be able to have the correct profit. Hold on, I have 2% joining the training. But in if you're not planning to do any multi-store or any store that will, let's say, be on different regions, since they will be countrywide or nationwide to use it, the region will not be used, but it's always an option that is available if you need to use it. So that's something that that is a good feature when you're using multi-store. When we create a vendor, we can assign it to our item. So under the cost tab, we have the vendor information. It looked like Mike and Luca are having a hard time to join the meeting. I'll just give them a few minutes because they are quitting and joining all the time. I'll just see if they are able to join properly. I'll give them 1 or 2 minutes.
I'm okay. My computer kept shutting off, so I switched to my iPad.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because every time someone join, I have to accept them. So I just wanted to make sure that no one was missing anything. Perfect, Luca. Thank you. So I'll just continue from there. Sorry, I thought because the last message I see is that you have left, so that's why I thought you were not there anymore. So we have the item here, the cost. So that's where we will control our vendor. Sorry. So here with the plus, you can assign a different vendor. So here I created 789. Well, I already add Kraft Foods, but I created another one. So I'll just make sure that my changes are saved here, that we can see them when I go here. So here, Kraft, contact name is me. I assign my vendor. Again, we have the same familiar window to new, copy, or modify existing. In this case, I will do new. With Elbus, we have a logic of default vendor. So at the bottom of you can see here default vendor. This will be the vendor that the system will use by default to do ordering and in the report. So when you will be looking at the report that will show the cost, profit, and everything on it for a specific item, it will always be referring to the default vendor. If you want to see it for a specific vendor that is not, let's say, the default vendor, you will have to select this vendor. But by default, LBOSS will always show the information based on the default vendor, because you can have multiple vendor assigned to one item. So the default vendor logic is important here, because in some situation we do see items configured with vendor as a default vendor, but they are not they do not exist anymore. So when the store made a modification, they haven't set the new default vendor, and when you look at the report, their profit is set to 0. It doesn't make sense. So in this specific case, I will go with yes, that I want to use 789 as my default vendor. But if I use the arrow there, the black arrow, I do have multiple vendors, so I can either choose from the vendor 1 or the 789, which is craft. Item code is referenced as the SKU number. So here it's a generic SKU number that I created. The case cost. So the case, it's the number of units that you have in a case. So let's say for the Oreo cookies, I have $24 in one case, and I'm sorry, I'm letting someone in again. And the cost, of course, will be the cost for the specific case. So $24 of Oreo cookies. Let's say it's $30. It will automatically populate the unit cost. I'm sorry. At the bottom here, well, besides you can see we have the use button. This button is used to reset our landed unit cost. To try to keep it simple, the landed unit cost is the average cost of all the receiving you're doing. So when you do receiving, the cost will vary from 1 week to another, or from one day to another. So when you do the receiving, the landed unit cost will be the average based on all the receiving you've done since the item was created. If you want to reset it, the landed cost, you can just click the use button for this specific item, and it will set the unit cost as the landed cost, and we are starting from zero, from scratch if we want. We can also do it for all the items at once. So under the edit menu, while being in items, the last option is update landed cost. So if we want to change the average cost, to reset it, actually, because before it was called the average cost, and now it's the landed unit cost. So this is used to have an idea of the average of what we're paying for a unit when we do a receiving, and for a certain period of time. So as soon as the on end will reach 0, the landed unit cost will be reset. So there is a logic behind it that it's first in, first out. And that's how it will populate the landed cost in the system. Sorry. Here on the right, we have the cost break. So it's when you buy a certain quantity, you get a discount from the vendor. So I can create my own cost break here. So I say that it will start last Monday, and I need 50K to get my discount. Is that it? I believe that's with the case. It will end at the end of next month, and I will get a $5 discount from after 50. That's to do a cost break. So that's it. Can be either the discount can be in dollars or in percentage. So it depends what you're looking to use. You can also set the multiple cost break if you need to. Do you have, guys, any question? Am I being clear? I'm sorry, I'm having some allergies at the same time, so I might be speaking weirdly. But do you have any question, or would like any more precision on how the cost will work with the LBOSS and LBOSS?
I do have a question on the landed unit cost. My screen doesn't show a landed unit cost.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your system is in demo mode right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Yeah, you can't use the landed unit cost since you don't have the inventory module, so that's why it's not showing. But yeah, that's the reason why. And also, when I will show you how to configure the inventory in a few minutes, it will not be available for you. But you can always follow on my screen if you need. Okay, so I will continue. Actually, we will go to the inventory tab. This is where we control it. This is where we decide if we're tracking the inventory of an item or not. So if I uncheck the INV checkbox here, I will not be tracking my on-end anymore. I will not be tracking inventory. I will not be able to do receiving. I will not be able to do adjustment. I will not be able to use the inventory module for this specific item. I'm just looking at Crystal question here. You said that when on-end goes to 0, then your landed unit cost reset to. Yes, that's correct. It reset to 0, Crystal. Since you don't have any units anymore in store, you don't have any landed costs anymore. So to continue, the inventory. So that here the checkbox is to track inventory. So we have the on-end. If I put my mouse over it, I can see that my on-end right now is -7, which is not very logical in a real environment. The 1.25 underneath is the information if I was tracking my item by weight. So I guess at some point during the training, I set my Oreo cookies to be scalable or manual weight. So that's why I have a value underneath. I also see the on-end on the quick page. So here I see my -7. So I guess at some point I forgot to do a receiving, and that's why I'm at -7 right now. Here the minimum is the minimum unit quantity. So in the inventory module, there's an option called order based on minimum. So it will verify the current on-end and order the item that are below minimum. So in my case, I say I always want to have 36 unit of Oreo cookies. So I always want to have 36 bucks of Oreo cookies. So I'm trying to keep that up. So if I was doing the order right now, it will order to at least reach the 36. Based also, of course, on the case cost quantity here of 24. So it will probably order 2 cases. So I'm over 36. The ROQ quantity is the reorder quantity. So that's by case. So the minimum, it will reorder, it will be 1 case. I can always set it to something else, let's say 5. So if I'm below minimum, but and I do my order right now, it will order 5 cases of Oreo cookies, even though it will be over 36 quite a lot. But that's the minimum that we can use. I will leave it to 1 for today, since it will be easier to follow. On the left, the ORD box will be controlling the ROQ. So if it's not checked, it will not be using it, and the field will be grayed out. So when you activate it, it will follow it. But the order below minimum will always work, even if the option is not checked. On the right here, we have the parent-child configuration. So this is used when you have items that are being sold in bulk. So they are well, not in bulk. That's not totally true. I can use the example again of the pack of beer. So you will have you will order the beer in pack either of 24, 12, or 6, and you will also sell them by the units. But when you order them from the vendor, they always come in pack of 48. So you divide them in each different quantity that you want to sell. I'm sorry. And from that, you will be able to, I think that the best thing here is to really show an example. The beer is a good example, but for people that used to smoke or that still smoke, we sell a cigarette in carton or in pack. So when you were ordering a carton, if I remember properly, you add 10 pack per carton. So you will have an item that will be your carton. Let's do the example here. Carton. New item. Oh, I don't know how to write anymore. So on this one, we'll be tracking the inventory. I will set up sub-department to be cigarette. There's plenty of tasks on that. Let's be sure we charge everything. For the costs, I will assign, well, let's go with the best supplier limited. Use vendor 101, yes. This SKU will be 99999. There is 10 pack of cigarette. Well, there is no. There is 1 carton of cigarette per case. So I'll say it's $90. I don't know how much costs cigarette right now. A few years ago, I will have been on the right price, but right now I'm not quite sure. So if we go with an item, that will be the pack. Create a new one. So pack of cigarette. Same vendor. This SKU will be 8888. There will be 10 pack per carton per case. So we'll say that it's still $90. Too much taxes. Oh, I haven't put a price on my item, so it will be $11.99. And again, I don't know how much it costs now, so. Oh, I did not put a sub-department. I know I did not put the sub-department. Come back here. We'll go back to our carton. I'll set the price to $100. And here on the inventory, that's my pack. My pack, I do not track the inventory since it will be a child of my carton. So if I look at my carton, I can see that I'm tracking the inventory on this one. If I go back to my pack, I will tell it to affect my carton by a certain quantity every time I sell it. So every time I will sell it, it will be 10 pack for, it will be 0.1. So it's equivalent to 10%. So every time I will sell a pack of cigarette, I will reduce the on end of my carton by 10%, 0.1. Is that making sense for all of you? Or is that maybe too complicated, or not too complicated, but you guys are unfamiliar with this procedure? That's true, Jimmy. Yes, we can set it the other way. So I can say that instead of my pack being the child, the pack being the child, the pack will be the parent. Yes, Crystal, if you have different UPC. I know that here in Canada, the carton and the pack do not share the same UPC. If they have the same UPC, then I recommend that you use the lot pricing under price here. So here under P, you have lot pricing, and you can tell it on the lot pricing the quantity. So one can be your carton, and the other one can be your pack. So here it will be 1 pack and 10 cart. So yeah, 10 pack versus 1 pack, and you can define the price. So my example yesterday with the very expensive Jello 2, so that was it's really similar to it, but here instead of being the year or the product being better, it's really the quantity that we're using. And when, of course, you choose one or the other, if you choose the 10, it will reduce the on end by 10. Let's just go back to default. But we will still keep the correct example with the child set to 10% of the carton. And if, of course, the button here follow is just really to bring on top the item that we have. So it called the carton. When I press it, I can go back to my pack. I'm sorry. So I will keep the maintenance window open so we can keep an eye on it, but I will go to the LBOSS and inventory button. we'll be looking into that in the next few minutes, Crystal. So just give me a second. I'll show you if we can or not, what we can do. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll just be back in a sec. I'm sorry. If the pack was 13, like in our example, Melissa, I will do it like Jimmy mentioned. So I will put it the other way around. I will set my pack to be my parent and my carton to be the child. So when I will be selling my carton, I will reduce the on n of the parent, which is the pack, by 13. So this way, even there's no roundup, and I'm always okay to affect the correct on n and not have a bad configuration or let's say decimal value left in the system. So now in the inventory module, that's how it looks when you open it. We have each type of transaction we can do. So there is order, count, receiving, adjustment. Transfer and receive transfer will be used in a multi-store environment. So it's when you're transferring stock from one store to another. Right now, we'll not be able to use them since I don't have a multi-store, but they are still there and they work the same way as all the others. The symbols that we have here, the eyes, the plus, and the loading circle, if I may call it this way, stand for view, create, and continue. So the view is to see the existing transaction you have under each category. So here, by doing it under order, it will show me all the orders. Same thing for count, same thing for receiving. And of course, adjustment transfer and receive transfer. For now, I will go under the count and I will create a new one. So I will be using the plus. When I create a count, it goes directly to the grid. It opened me this window. I can add items with the field down here. I can double click and select from the item that I have. I will select my carton that is there. And I will I'm so sorry. I will count that I currently have in my store 100 of them. So the count will be used to start the on end of a store. If the store just opened, we will count and it will be our starting value. It is to reset mostly the on end of the item. So when after a while, at some point, maybe we miss a receiving or two, or we see that the on end might not be balancing properly, or it doesn't represent what we have on the shelves, we will go with the count to start over. So just here for my count, not the receiving account, I see that I have 100 carton of cigarettes on my shelf, so I'm making sure that the on end is correct for the future use. Future use. Sorry. Under files, we have some options. So one that is very fun, actually. If I go back, I will add another item to make it more obvious, but it's the AutoLink PLU with maintenance. So if I select my Oreo cookies, it bring them on the maintenance screen. If I select my carton, it bring it on the maintenance screen. So it's just that it's linked together, and you can work in your account, receiving or order at the same time that you're seeing maintenance. Since I have my Oreo cookies here, I will correct my -7 to be at something that make more sense, I'll put 6. And account, the way it works, it will replace the on end. So if it was -7 and I entered 6, when I will be saving the count, the on end will now be 6. It will replace the value with what I entered. That will be my new on end at the end. So here it's you can have an extra prompt when you're doing post to confirm that you want to go through with this. So if I put it on, I do posts, I have this prompt that is showing. When it's active, it stay on. So it doesn't, even if you do another transaction after, it will still be on. You can hide column and change them. So if I do hide column, I can left click on every column title to hide them. So if I want to remove the lot number, left click. So the lot will not be showing afterwards. So if I go here and I unclick that, will it work? I think I have to reload it. So if I do the X, I have the option to exit, continue later, or cancel. So I will do continue later. Now I have my icon that tell me that I can continue my count. When I reopen it, as you can see, the lot number is gone. It's not showing anymore. If I want to bring it back, I can do reset all hidden column. Do you want to receive? Yes. Please reload the window. So I'll do OK. Close it. Continue later. Go back here. And now my lot number is back. Exit is kind of self-explanatory. Sorry. Under command, we have the import from portable device. So we do have a module called the LHTML. This module will allow you to do a transaction on an handheld device. When you're done on the device, it will generate a file that you can load into the inventory module. This file is a CSV, and it will be analyzed by the inventory module. So it allows you to move all around the store with your device to do count, receiving, order, price change, and stuff like that. We are also working on a new thing that we call LBoss Mobile. It is an Android application that you can install on your cell phone tablet. And this application allows you to run LBoss on a mobile device. So you have access to all the options, well, nearly all the options that you have on LBoss for items configuration, receiving and everything. And you don't have to import afterward. It will update the database right away. If we have time today, I will show you a quick preview on my setup to show you how it looked like with the LBoss Mobile so you can have an idea. But for now, we'll just keep going with the function that we have in the current system. That's it when you import. So you can either import the data with the case or unit. So we can move the data from one column to another. Load all item allow us to load all the items. So I'll do it after that. I don't mind. Is every item counted will allow us to reset the on end to 0 for all the items. Print worksheet will do a worksheet on screen. So it show me what I currently have in my transaction. I can set the remark. This is a count. I have a note field, and I can say this count was made by Dominique. Enter X to save. So now the note is flashing. When I will post it, the information will be registered in the system. So the count is as of now. It's not. We can set them in time to affect a previous day. So it's really as of now all the time. And here we see my count that I did, my average cost, which is my unit landed cost, and my note at the bottom. So, so if I go to my Oreo cookies now, the on end is 6, like I entered in the count. I go to my carton, my on end is 100, so I have 100 cartons in the system. If at the POS, I don't know if I did a deploy change. I sell my pack of cigarette. I'll have to log in. Come on, you can do it. 7 cashier ID. I will not use the shortcuts since I don't know they exist. And I sell my pack of cigarette here at $11.99. When we do a transaction with LBus, there is with LPOS, I'm so sorry, there is a delay of 12 seconds before the LBus register it. So that's why I'm waiting. In the real environment, it will not cause you any problem, but me on my setup, when I'm waiting for it, it's for sure feel like it's taking longer. If I go back to my on end, now it's 99.9, so it was reduced by 0.1 when I sold my pack of cigarette. And if I sell the carton itself, I did not set the item property. Bizarre. I think I know what it is. That will be tomorrow's class. So it is probably my definition table here. Yeah, so that's the one. Just react like you haven't seen anything. Carton, so now it worked. That's what happened when I use exactly the wrong number of numbers. So it's 6 digit. Yeah, if I was anything else, it will have been okay. So if I go back to my carton, now the on end is 98.9. I'm just verifying that okay, just one thing that I did not show you under the count before we go to the next transaction type is the load all items. So this will load all the items that are set for inventory. So all the items that have the check mark like that inventory, when I will press OK, they will be on screen. You can use some filters. So you can use either category, family code, report code, subdepartment, or brand to load some specific item. So it's from 2, but in this case, I will load everything. I don't think there's a lot. Yeah, no, only 13. So that's all my items right now that are set for inventory. I have their current on end, so most of them are negative since I've done some tests with you guys since Monday without counting anything. Under well, this one I will leave it to 98.9. I don't want to change that, and this one I'll leave it to 6. So under the is every item counted? I have an option here to know what to do with the item that doesn't have a value. So in the case of the Oreo cookies in my carton, I set a value there. So I can either set all the others to 0 or use the current on end. So the minus all the on end that we currently have for those items will be bring to the unit column. In my case, I want them to be 0, so I will set all non-counted item to 0. And I forgot to do enter before going in the menu here. That's my bad. So it was not saved, but here the 6 will be posted, 98.9, and all will be at 0. And I can call it reset count. The remark is not mandatory. So if you don't want to enter any, you can leave it blank. It will also work. So that's how the report look like when we do a count. So we do have the previous quantity, the variance, average cost, and the total amount. Under view count, if I go, I can see the two count I have done. So one was at 1:30, the other one was at 1:40 p.m. Transaction number 1 and 2, so that we can see the description, the remark that I entered and who did it. So that's how the view count work. And if I double click on them, I can open them to see what was done. If I need to reprint them, at the bottom here, I have the print option. I can export them directly to CSV or Excel file. The option is already there. Do you have any question on the count feature? After that, I will go to order and receiving to show the relation. But do you have any question on how the count work or what we just saw? I'm sorry, Mark. I'm not too sure to understand. What do you mean by why does it not add in the report on the right? Should I reopen a window that I closed maybe too quickly?
So when you're doing the report showing it, it shows the $9,000 for the cigarettes and that, but the report says 0 on the right when you do your report. On the bottom
That's
right.
true.
Why is that?
That's something I haven't shown
Down there.
show you yet. It's down here, the total.
Okay.
And this is the inventory charges. We'll see them very shortly.
Okay, thanks.
Going back to the counting of the cigarettes, I mean, the stores are going to want to keep track of their cartons and their packs. So I would assume to be able to do that, you would have to check to inventory the packs and the cartons, and then you would be able to inventory both of those and keep an on-hand quantity of both of those.
Yeah, for sure. So you will receive them individually instead of receiving them together. You will receive them. You will receive the pack and you will receive the carton instead of receiving everything at once.
Okay.
I'm just be back in a sec if you don't mind. It won't be too long. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Bad number that I was receiving every day since Monday. I just wanted to catch it. Mark is asking if I can talk a little bit more about the edit menu. The edit menu, depending the window you have on top or you're focusing right now, will be a little bit different. So you see if I'm doing it with vendors, the option are you have less option. But if I do it with the item and I go to edit, I'm so sorry. The list is quite different. So I can go through the option. The first one is to expand. In the inventory count. Oh, my bad. The edit, it's very simple. So we have two options. One is always add new entry and always consolidate items. Let me show you the difference. If I go to count again and I do an Oreo cookies once, I enter a quantity 22 and I enter again the Oreo cookies. It will ask me if I want to add a new entry. Yes or no. So if I do yes, it will add another line. I can set up a different quantity. So instead of posting 22, it will post here 55. So it will be 45. It will be combined. Under the edit, I can say either always add a new entry. So I will not be prompt. So if I add again item 1, it will do another line automatically. So I can put 65, and here I will be at 110 for the Oreo cookies. If I set always consolidate, when I will do another line, it will not add it and it will highlight the last one that we have entered. So I'll be able to modify this one. Well, I can always go to the edit menu of the maintenance if you want. I think it's a good thing. That is to search by vendor code, so you can enter the vendor code there. So we have some custom queries we can set, some SQL that we can use. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Is everyone able to hear me properly, or just Mark is having a problem?
I'm fine.
Okay. Okay. Let me just plug it in my headset. It's a wireless headset. Maybe I'm running low on battery. Just give me a moment. Okay, so let me know if you have a hard time to hear me. I plugged the headset in. I see that most of you are able to hear me correctly. I don't know if the one are having a hard time maybe with their internet. Maybe you can quit the meeting and come back. I can give you a few minutes to do that. Now I'm perfect. So I guess my headset is maybe running low on battery at some point. So I'll keep it plugged for now. I'm sorry about that. And just to go back to Mark's comment, so he was saying that it's good, so you can count and see how many you have in the back room or the cell floor. Or you're quite right. That's exactly why we made that, because you are counting an item in the L's, and then when you were going to the when you were at the front of the, let's say beside the cash, you had the same item again because you were displaying it there. This way you can see where all the quantity individually. That's exactly why we're doing it. Can you keep separate inventory by lot? I'm not sure, Sean, to understand your question here. The lot number, yes, we do have this feature, but it's mostly to track if you have a bad batch of product in particular. It's really popular in the cannabis store, or when we have the drugs that are used in a drugstore. But maybe I'm not understanding properly. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, when you have a back room and then you have the floor and you want to keep separate totals and then transfer in between as you move inventory from the back room to the sales floor.
You mean a warehouse kind
Yes.
of configuration?
Yes.
The basic LBus will not allow you to do that by default. You will need to have two LBus to have two different on-end. You cannot have two on-end on one LBus.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So if we don't have any other extra question on the account, I will move to the order and receiving.
I just wanted to get a quick clarification. You were just talking about if you're taking inventory out on the floor and then you go back and you take an inventory in the back room, how do you account for the same item being in two places?
Well, the let's say if I have Oreo cookies on the shelf at the front, so in front of the store I have $30.
Yeah.
So I count 30. If in the back I see that I have also, well, not also, but let's say I have $60, I can scan my item one again.
Okay.
So you want to add and enter 60, and they will add up to 90 together. So when
okay, so it'll aggregate.
For the.
Right. That's what I want to make sure of. Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Cancel transaction.
But here you have to count the units, so you can't count cases in this.
The count only work with the units. Yeah.
Okay.
You can use case. A question from Daniel: If physical inventory is done by a third-party company, how do we import the file with information into the system? under the count, I show you quickly under here, import from portable device. If you don't have the module, it will not work. Right now, I do not have it, but this will allow you to import a CSV into the system. So if you have the information from a third party, what we're looking for is really the PLU number, comma, quantity, and we can import it in the system no matter, let's say, if it's a CSV that will go through. If it's a text file, it will also go through. So really what the inventory module is looking is PLU number, comma, quantity, and that's how we can add it to the system. This will work with the LHTML module. So it's a module that need to be bought by the customer if they want to import inventory quantity. So that's something basic, but it will work perfectly for a third party. What do you mean by electronic invoices, Mike? Maybe I'm not familiar with the name.
Well, the warehouse can provide a CSV file that we go out to their mailbox and get each night and import that
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, if it's respecting again the format for the order and receiving, it's instead of being PLU and quantity, it's PLU, unit, or case. So we can use either of those. So if they can be format to match what we're looking for. We can also create our own format if we need. So we can edit the style that we have, and we can make it match what is being provided by the warehouse. That's a good question. I'm not sure the SKU will work 100% since they are not always unique. For count, it's for sure that it will not work. I will have to verify for the for order and receiving. But if we do them when we do it from our device, because this is using a module that we're providing, so this module have some basic that it's doing, and it always use the UPC. So I will test it to be sure, Mark, but I'm fairly convinced that we will be forced to always use the UPC code and not the SKU or item code. And yes, Crystal, we can set up a task to copy the file and to import them in the system. That's possible too, yes. So I'll go to order and receiving. I'll try. The logic behind order and receiving is very similar to what we have on count. So the plus again is to create a new order. We select our supplier, which is well, I'll go with the one I created because I feel important. I can enter a PO number, or it can be generated automatically. And I can also type in whatever I want. If I go with the automatic one, here I have my my vendor, which is 789 Craft. The region is all. I can double click to see the list of items. Only my Oreo cookies are assigned to this vendor, so that's why that's the only one I can see. I can use the vendor code if I want to enter them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Type it in there, it will add it. You can also use a scanner in the inventory module if you need. So if you have a scanner that is plugged into the computer, it will work. Tomorrow I'll be doing peripheral, so I'll show you how to configure the scanner in LBus and the POS tomorrow when we'll start the class. Here you can see that I set up earlier my cost break under my Oreo cookie. So if I go back to my cost tab, if I buy 50 or more, I get $5 off. So right now, as you can see, I'm in the below 50. So if I set it to 25 cases, I'm not getting the discount. If I go to 50, am I getting my discount? Oh yeah, here I can see break. So I have 250 off. So I'm saving $5 per case. If I go to 100, my break will move to 500. I don't know if you see here the break. Again, just so you know, you can customize your column so you can hide them. If you want to add column, it's also possible with an SQL. This is SQL based, so we can just add the fields that we want. But by default, that's what we're providing. So we can see that my discount is applying. My $5 off per case is showing there. I have a remark again here that I can use. Also the note that we saw. A cancel transaction, if you click that, it will cancel it. Under files, we have exactly the same option. So the auto link asks confirmation on post. If you set it on 1 for the confirmation on post, it will be shared with all the type of transactions and not just the order. Commands here, we have import from portable device. The only difference is the two here that we have is the auto generate order from minimum and auto generate order from sales. I will show you the option very shortly. Let me just finish here with this one. Edit menu is similar to what we had in the account. So I'll cancel transaction. I don't want to save it. So if I go back to my order, select my craft, I will put on, you are not forced. If you want to leave it blank and just do OK, it will also work. Import from minimum, auto generate, order from minimum. So this will allow me to, it will look at my current on hand. Like I was explaining to you. So if my current on hand right now is 6 and my minimum is 36, it will order my Oreo cookies to make sure that at least I have 36 in the system. So auto generate order from minimum. It's ordering me 2 cases for a total of 48. So I do respect now my for this order, it's based on the minimum, so it does respect what I need for the transaction, or what I need for the store. So my minimum will be okay after I do this receiving. When an order is posted, the system will know that the item is already on order. So if I try to regenerate another order with the same item based on minimum, it will not order this item again because it will already be on order. So let's just make sure that I can show you. So if again I go I posted my order. So if I try to generate another one based on minimum, you can see that it shows my Oreo cookies. It's still there. It didn't put any quantity under case, so it's 0. And it showed me that there is already 48 that are on order. So that's it still tell me that the item is under minimum, but it doesn't order any quantity. When you do the order, you see that you have here the receiving with the red one. So it showed that the option that I have either receive from an order or create a new receiving. So if I create a new receiving, it will bring me again the vendor selection. I can enter the invoice number if I want. And I have again the same grid to do an order. So I can add my item manually. If I go in the receive from an order, I can select the one that the order that I just did. I can enter my invoice number. It will bring out what I did and I can post the information in the system. Or like right now, I will cancel it. Do you want to cancel this transaction? Yes. Do you want to delete the order? Yes. So it will cancel the receiving and it will delete the order. And now we'll do an order based on sales. That's the other option. I didn't want to do my receiving, otherwise.
So when you get that receiving, you actually count your order and you actually got less Oreos than that. Can you change it up there and just say I didn't get that much?
Yeah. Let me show you at the same time. So if I do here, that's under command again. Sorry, maybe I was a little bit too quick. I selected my same vendor commands to generate order from sales. So I will select from Monday to today. I will ignore my current on hand. So what it will do is that it will order exactly the number of items I sold, if my memory is good. Let's see how many items I sold today by going into report. So under LBOSS, you have the report button. Each reports are separated in different category. I'll be looking for PLU sales. I'll select review, the date from Monday to today. I'll select my Oreo cookies, and I'll see how many I sold since Monday. So I sold 7. So if I create here my order, it will probably order 1 case since they are getting in case of 24. Actually, no, because the amount is too small. So since the case quantity is too high, it did not order the case. So I just kind of messed up my example. But this can be controlled. There is a flag under LBOS file configuration advanced. This flag, it's similar to the POS, so you can control F in it to search. Auto, I believe. So auto generate order case rounding factor. So the way it will work when you do an auto generate order, it will by default it will only order if you need more than the half of a case. In my case, I don't want this to respect that, so I will order when as soon as I have something that is missing, or at least a sale, I wanted to do it. I'll have to restart everything. Well, Daniel, in LBOS, if you want to cancel an order once it has been posted, you can cancel it whenever you want. I haven't. If you decide to send it to the vendor by email, you will have to for sure to reach out to the vendor to tell him, oh, sorry, disregard the last email I sent you. But for LBOS, you can cancel it whenever you want. So let me just cancel that too. So to generate from sales, I do hope I remember how this flag work. Yeah. So here you go. So now it order 1 even if I'm below the 50% of the case for the sales I have made. I will post that with 1. So again, we have the report. Under my receiving, I can do receive from an order. So let's say I did not receive the whole thing. And actually, I haven't received any Oreo cookies in that delivery. They forgot. They sent me ice cream instead. So I will set it to 0 to change the quantity. Post. The usual 12 seconds that I have to wait. Here it tells me there's nothing since I set the quantity to 0. There is an option to print shelf label or item label. So if we want to print them directly from the after the receiving, we can do it right here. So that's the item, and we have the shelf. If I do close, do you want to keep the non-received item in order? If I say yes, it will put me back the quantity. It tell me that it's a back order, sorry, and I can do post, and it will be still waiting to be received for the next time that the vendor deliver me. So in the inventory module, I see still the receiving for the back order. This can be turned off too. So if you don't want to use back order, we can remove this the prompt, and it will not ask you if you want to create or not the back order. And just so we can, where is it? Inventory, sorry. I did not show you, but we can do also, come on, manual receiving. So if I select any vendor, you don't need an order to create a receiving. So you could create one on your own if you feel like it. I can add my items that I'm looking for. If I know the PLU, I can type them in. And of course, the receiving on the on hand, it will add the quantity to your current on hand. That will be a receiving that I've done manually. Do you have any question on the order and receiving, or would like maybe some clarification or extra option that you are looking for? Maybe something that you think I've skipped. So I guess we will move forward with the inventory charges. So I'm not sure. I think it was Mark that told me that in my count it was showing 0 at the bottom, right? Well, in the middle instead of showing the total. So in the inventory module, we have an option called inventory charge. So this show in the field here. I don't know if you can see my cursor right now. So in this field, we have something called the inventory charge. They can be configured in maintenance register inventory charges. They can be configured per type of transaction. So count, adjustment, ordering, etc. So if I do one for ordering, we have some predefined inventory charge we can use the totalizer here. We have discount, shipping fee, insurance, duties, tax. So let's go here with shipping fee that we will be calculating. We can distribute the amount on all the item being part of the receipt of the order. I'm sorry, and this will affect the landed cost for all of the items. So it will be added to the it will be considered in the average cost of each item by checking the distributed amount. It can either be an open amount, a preset amount, an open percent, or a preset percent. So if I go with the preset percent, and every time I do a transaction, I want to charge 5% of ordering fee, I can add a subtotal, add another line if I see that there is a currency fee. So here I will go with the preset amount. So it will be, preset amount, it will be 222. For my receiving, I will do exactly the same. Shipping fee, preset percent, 5%, because I don't want them to, I don't know if I check the currency fee, reset amount to 22, distributed fee. I'll just go see my ordering if I did, no, here, okay. If I go back to my inventory module, I'll close my order and do a new one. And I'll go with my vendor one this time. Okay, you can see at the bottom that now I have my shipping fee, my subtotal and my currency fee. So this is always there. So my order, even if I don't have any items, start with 222. If I add some items to there and I set, I add case here, I have 5 case. I have 50-cent fee for shipping. My subtotal is 1050, so it's here. I can add another subtotal if I want underneath. That's how the inventory charge will be working. You can also create your own, if I remember properly. Yeah, these are the ones defined by default, but we can add. They need to be between. They need to be greater than. They need to be between. Okay, so we can create our own totalizer. If you want to create your own inventory fee or inventory charge and define the name, it can be done also manually. We can create more than that. But so in a receiving, in an order, it will look like that. I can post. And if I go to my receiving, format order, vendor 1. Here I still have the same fee since that what I said for my receiving also. When I will post, it will adjust my unit cost based on all the fee that were charged during the receiving because I set them to distribute the amount on all the items. So my unit cost is 33 cents. If I go to maintenance and I compare with what I have by default, what is it? That's the wrong vendor. So that's 33 cents. And if I go to my average, where is it? Oh, it doesn't show the average cost there. I was all looking to show you that. But here, as you can see, the information is being populated with the inventory charge. So below the line, it's really the inventory charge. We can always customize the report to remove them if it generates any confusion. But the information, that's why under my account, it was showing at 0. Since I didn't have any charge. So if you're, let's say in the case of account, if you're having a company do the account for you and they charge you a fee, you can include it in the account and show it there. So it can be part of an inventory charge too. And the last type of transaction in the inventory module that we can see here is the adjustment. So that's either a plus or a minus. There is no vendor selection like the count. We have some reason. So let's say if I add my item 1 and I want to reduce my on end by 5, I enter -5. And once I'll post that, my on end will be 31. I can set up a reason to say that it was damage, return, giveaway, stolen, a promotion, or destruction. So I'll go with destruction. Since it seems dangerous and scary. Thief in the store. That's a good question, Bradley. The inventory adjustment is only available on the LBOSS. For the lane, we have a way of doing a freebie that will not affect the net sales, but it's better to do it on the. We recommend to do it on the LBOSS. We do have a way to make it work depending the option you're using on the POS. But the best practice is to really do it on the back office system. Well, you can also install if you need a LBOSS workstation on every lane, and the cashier can have access to them. Sorry, if it's required. But we do have a way of, let's say, selling them for free that doesn't affect the net sale. That's something that we also have available that we can do at the point of sale. And we can change the description of freebie to be adjustment. Yes, Mark, that's a good thing. I did not think about showing how to do weight items. Thank you for letting me know. Scalable, manual weight. And just to see Bradley answered on one full back office as the lane. Yeah, yeah, it's possible. If we do it with the freebie, we can do a mention and it can be done already. It just requires some configuration, but it can be done. If you don't use one loyalty program in particular, we can do it easily. To enter Mark for an order, let me just see if I have a cost. Yeah, I do. I'm not tracking the inventory. So here. Vendor 1, right? Yes. So if I add my bananas and I want to, well, they are by case too. So, but can I put, yeah. So I put 7.235 pounds. Well, there's only 2 decimal for pounds. So 7.23 pounds for the case. So yeah, it can be entered into the system. And that's an order. I can show you an adjustment for sure. But it will only work, I believe, if the item is set to be scalable and manual weight. If you do it on a regular item that is sold by unit, you will not be able to enter any decimal. So if I go to 411, my bananas, and I set it to 2.25, and this will be added to my on end. So yes, you can use the decimal and the fractional for pounds or kilogram if you're using kilogram. And when you're using a weight item, it will list the quantity under the weight column and not the quantity. Do you guys have any question before we go to the next part? Well, since I don't have any reaction from everyone, I think we can go to the next part. But with the current time, I think it's better that if we take a little break. So how about we come back at 2:40 and we continue after that with the how to design the point of sale. So see you all back in 20 minutes. Bye bye. I'm sorry, I just lost my connection. I'll be back in a sec. Let me know when you can see my screen. And if you can hear me, for sure. Window. Sorry about that. Just trying to move everything back to where it was before. Okay.
You look good up here in Toronto.
I'm sorry.
You look pretty good in Toronto. I can see you.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw it from away, and I saw my VPN drop, and I lost my remote connection. So it bring everything back to my main stream. So I have to bring all the other windows to the 2 other screens, so I don't get messed up when I bring back stuff from minimize. But I think I'll be okay from here. So sorry about that. So now we will be mostly working with the POS. To configure form, zone, and buttons. I know we already work on zone, so I will not go back in details with everything. Oh, I see someone trying to join. Give me a sec. Okay. So, so if you remember properly from Monday, we can resize the zone by going to POS setup zones. So, this is the default zone that we have with the system. Normally we don't touch them. We leave it like that. It's always better to customize all the button and change some stuff, but the default zone that we have are the following. So there is a relation between zones and forms and buttons. So it's let's say it's a 3 layers relationship. We have at the base, we have the zone. In the zone, we can tell the system to show a form or multiple forms. And on a form, we can add buttons that we will show on screen. So the basic of the screen is really the zone. So by default, the original one are, let's say they will be appropriate for any location that you will be using. So the zone is just to you see this right here. You see that there is some zone 12, but underneath you see all the forms that are assigned to this zone. So when you create a zone, it doesn't have anything assigned to it. So in the zone configuration, that's the only thing you have to do is to really create the area where you want to show your form, and that will be your zone. I feel like I'm using the word zone too many times, but that will be the it's really the shell of the POS and where the information will be showing. If we go to buttons and form, we'll give it time to load and import buttons and forms. Here you can see that we have the tab called forms. This the current disposition that we see, the number that we see in this window are the zone. So in zone 12, I have form 6, 10, 11, and 20. If you're following me here, it might not be that very obvious. We also have the customer monitor that some of you already turned off. So that's the default customer monitor. So here we're seeing the zone 9, 7, 21, 25, 23, and 20. And if I click on zone 7, I see that there is only one form, and the form is 22. So on the right here, the number, when I'm on the form tab, it's referring to the to the form number. So form 22 is in the zone 7. If I go with a form that include button, so let's go back to my main monitor since I don't have any button on the customer one. I go to my department form, so which is zone 12 with form 6. Again, I see my buttons that are assigned to it. I believe I show you quickly how to add and remove buttons. So when you want to remove a button from a zone, you can just double click on it. You have the option to delete it, always delete. So this works the same way as maintenance. So if we do always delete, you will be deleting every time you will double click on a button, it will delete it until you leave the setup. So if you do delete it, it will delete it from the system. But there's another option. Nothing is just nothing. But one option that is very useful is find it. Let's say you have your discount on item button that, and you want to hard code the discount in it. If you double click on it and press find it, sorry, it will it will find the button. So as you can see, now it's showing here on the right in red. If I go to function, the button that is highlighted is the item discount. So I can go to the function properties of this button and change my preset discount from 5 to 10%. Each function have each function that we have here, that's function 450, have a unique section. So the first part, the top part, is unique to each function. So each function, the top part will be different. When you reach the general section and the sequencer section, they are the same for all the form. So they are for general and sequencer, they are shared by all, not the form, I'm sorry, for all the function. So that's unique to the item discount. If I go, let's say to my, I will save my change. If I go to my tender cash button, so I can type in tender to go T, because all the tender are called tender equal something. So if I go to tender equal cash, go to my function properties, the first part is different. There's more option when I compare it to the item discount in the first section. But again, I have the general and the sequencer. General, it's all option that you have shared between all your buttons, all your functions, sorry, and sequencer also. Sequencer is to prevent the execution of a button based on some criteria. So if you have pressed a certain button, if you have scanned a certain item, you will be able to allow the button to be, the function to be executed, sorry. As you can see, cash do offer a lot more option versus item discount. Let me just do a screen capture so we can compare them both side by side. So if I go to my cash function, here is the beautiful and perfect Microsoft Paint. And let's go back to discount item, and I'll bring back my screen capture. So you can see that both the first, you see the item discount that general start before, and on the cash there is a lot extra options. So each function have their own unique option that are related to them. I will not read them all to you because we'll be there in March. But each, I invite you to go to the button that you might think you'll be using more and to see the option. Again, if you put your mouse over a title, most of them have a description. Of course, when I say that, it doesn't work. So you can put the double width printing is pretty obvious. So there's not, but if it's not too clear, there is a description in yellow that will show. And is it clear for everyone the difference between the operator display and the customer display? Because the operator display will be the screen that the cashier sees. So that's the one right here with the buttons and the POS, and the customer screen will only show, will show the information that the customer need to see. So it will list the items that are in the transaction, the total and stuff like that, but it won't, there's no button. So I just want to make sure, is that clear for everyone, the operator display versus the customer display? Thank you, guys, for answering. So now we will do, we'll go back to buttons and form, and we will create a form. So if you, let's say, by default, here, I have four forms. So I have my department, which is all my button that we see when the POS opens, so the main screen. If I go to the second one, which is pickup. That's a menu that is beside. So we can have multiple form on the same zone, and a button will be calling each form to bring on top. So that's part of my pickup form. I'll show you how it works in a few seconds, or well, a minute. And after that, we have our payment screen, which is used for paying. Oops. And the cash pickup for coins, rolls, and bills when we do pickup. So let me just show you in the POS how it looked when we do that. So if you remember all, my form 6, which is my department menu, is already on screen. So this is the one. If I click on the right here on tender menu, it will bring up my payment screen that we were seeing. So with all my tenders, cash, the Uber Eats we created yesterday. There was a pickup screen. So here the button pickup will call my pickup screen. So that's the form 10 that we were seeing when we're in the setup. So that's a pickup, and the cash pickup menu will bring all my denomination for coins, roll, bills on there. So if I want to close all of that, I can press the end cash pickup. It will bring me back to the previous form, and pickup to bring me back to the department menu. And if I want to go back to the tender menu, I can click there. So what I think we will do now is to add a form to the 4 that are already here. So we'll add an extra one. So we'll be at 5 forms, sorry, in the zone 12. So we'll go back to buttons and form. On zone 12, we will click on it. I will select any form. It doesn't matter. So you see now at the bottom, the option here are not grayed out anymore. So when we were there before, let me show you, I'll go back. I select my form. You see that at the bottom, everything is grayed out. So when I will select my 6, the options are available. So in Logivision, the calculator is to create something. Trash can is to delete. And the save is the floppy disk for the person who ever used them when they were young. And here we have the create. We'll create a new form. So I'll press the calculator. Where do I want to show this form? So I want to show it under zone 12. So that's my zone list. I will select 12. And I see that I have my department, my pickup, my payment screen, cash pickup. Of course, it's cut. There you go, cash pickup form. So I'll select that. The new form has been created. It's number 23. I will give it a name. I will call it trading, because why not? And that's my new form, 23 trading. I will exit the setup to make sure that the change that I made are saved, and I will come back in after. If I go to forms now and I select my 12, I now see my 23, which is trading. Right now, there's nothing on 23. If I open it, it's just blank. So let's say I feel like adding a button. Which one will I add? Oh, how about my tender Uber Eat that I created with you guys yesterday? To tender Uber Eat. Where are you? So again, to add a button, you click once on it, you release the mouse, the button actually on the mouse, and you click again on the form. So it's being added to the form. But I need a way to go to my my new form that I created, because if I go back to my department form and everything, I will save the change for sure. If I go back here, I don't have any buttons to bring me there. So I have to create a button that will bring me to my my new form that I created for my Uber Eat button. So let's go in buttons and form. To create a new button, I will be using the calculator on the top. So beside the yellow key on the right, I have a calculator to add a new button. Again, the calculator here is very important. So it's the one at the top, not the one at the bottom. Be careful. How do I will I go to Uber Eat? I have a lot of imagination today. So go to Uber Eat. So that will be my button. So the I will have to add a function. So at the bottom, you see now here that it say no function. Use the calculator to add a function to the button. So I will do that. To load a form with the button, the function is called load form. So it's 8001 load form. You press OK to add it to your button. Once it's there, you have to go to the function properties. So the function properties will tell me, again, it's a different function than the cash and the item discount. As you can see, the options are more limited here for the load form. So there's less unique option for this function. What it does, the load form, it load a form. So if I go to my form number, if I'm remembering properly, it was 23 that I created. So I can select here from the list 23, training. For it to be active, I have to check active because it's not there by default. And that will be it to load the form. I will have now to put that on my screen. I will change the color to gray because I feel like gray is better than blue for that button. So I will go to my department form. I will add it. So I will remove the scale button, double click, delete it. Click once, add the button, and I will exit my setup to see what I've done. If it works, will I be stuck? Maybe, who knows? So now I have tender menu, which is working. And if I click on my go to Uber Eat, it brings me my Uber Eat button. So that's great. I can pay using the Uber Eat button and it brings me back. But if I go to Uber Eat and I want to come back, I don't know how to do it. I don't have any button to do it. So I'm kind of stuck. Except if I do a transaction and complete it with cash, I will be staying on the Uber Eats form. So I'll add a button for me to go back to my department form. So I'll create a new button. Go to department menu. It already exists, but I'll go do another one so we understand how it works. I'll add with the calculator again the load form. I'll go here, form number. I'm selecting my department form. I set it to active, apply, and I will put it in purple pinkish color. And I'll go to training, click once. I think that's the most beautiful POS you've ever seen. I'm not sure a store will hire me to do the design for them. But so now if I go to my Uber Eats, I now have my go to department menu. So I can press on it and it brings me back to the department menu. Also in the system, there is forms that are predefined. So if you see, when I do a transaction at the bottom here, I have subtotal, tax 1, tax 2, food stamp, WIC, etc. This and the receipt too. So where the receipt is showing, and at the top where we have our license, all the information in transaction. At the bottom here, the symbols. On the left here is the entry buffer that you have. So these forms are all not hard-coded, but they are predefined in the system. So let me show you how they look like in the buttons and form. If I go again to buttons and form, I go to forms. You can see that some form name have stars. So here it's stars and 3. So that's the one at the bottom left where we have the cursor blinking. So that's entry. Details, where it shows the total and all the information. Receipt, also between stars, so that's a predefined type. So when you have the stars in the name, it means that it's a type that we already have it that we provide with the system, and you have other options. Total, so if we go on total here, if I click on total here, I select 5, so you see also the stars when you're in the form selection here. I have the following menu bar that show menu bar. Under we have some execution appearance to change the background color. So now right now it's set to something else. I want a bit to be pink. Tonight will be pink. It will be amazing. So it was gray, and I changed it to pink. Under option, I have a display option. And this is some field that we can add that are predefined. So let's say in my store, I do not use food stamp or WIC, so I remove them. And I also have only tax 1, but I would like to show the item count there. So I can add the item count. If I want to change the order and put it, let's say, right under the subtotal, I must remove everything, add back tax 1, and add total. So all the forms that have stars at the beginning and at the end of the name will have option like that to customize the what is being shown, the display option. For the background color, it's all the form can be changed. So here we will see the change I made, how it will be beautiful. Come on, come on. It is so beautiful. So now I scan my item 1, I see my subtotal, my item count, tax 1, and my total. Of course, I do have tax 2 too. Tax 2 too. I'm also charging tax 2, so it's not there. But yeah, so the change I made in this beautiful pink make the POS very unique. So, and each, oops, not system, I'm sorry. Buttons and forms. Just making sure I'm not forgetting anything. Also, in the forms, we have different modules. So there's the entry, that is the cursor blinking. Details will show all the items information. So if you want to, let's say if you're doing a price lookup with the price inquiry function, the details form will show you the detail of the item. It can also include the picture. It can tell you if it's taxable or not, the current price, the on end. So if I go to details just to show you, again, under display option, each one is very unique. So here I can item description, item number, taxability, price, quantity, weight. And let's say I remove weight and I had on end. Okay, and I quit. If I do a price inquiry, which is the button right here in blue under the vendor coupon, and I scan my item 1, it will show me that my item to sell is 199. It's tax 1 and tax 4. Right now there's 1. It's sold by 1 quantity, and my on end is 29. And I can do that with other items. And when I'm tired of looking in the menu while doing that, I can press clear on the screen to go back to my great pink form. I'll just continue with the type of form. Detailed receipt for the receipt, that's very obvious. Totals, that was the one we were playing with earlier that I changed to pink. So as you can see, your department form is not one that is reserved by the system, since there's no stars at the end and the beginning of the name. Customer information, that's one that is from the system, so you can decide to show customer information like point balance, the amount that they owe on their account right now in the LBOS, the name of the customer, the phone number, email address, etc. So that's all option you can do with the customer information. General information is the one at the top, so where we have the license, terminal number, and the transaction number, and the time. Help form is not one reserve. Icon, so where we have the icon at the bottom where it's the LPOS. So here on the customer monitor, we have total again. So it's being used for the customer to show them how much they owe for the transaction. We use it 3 times, so we can decide on each of them which field we're showing. So if I go to option, display option, I see that we're showing the following option under total for the first one. The second one, I go under option, display option, I see other fields that are defined. But it's really unique to every customer depending what information they want to show. Here it's only the total, so And each form can have its own background or and its own font. So let's say this one is set to be with the following font Calibri in bold, and the size is 36. But if I look at the 23 and I go to font, it's the same font, but also bold, but the size is 14. So they are all independent and can be controlled individually. Each form can be controlled individually. Again, totals. Logo image is one that is mandatory. So it cannot be removed. We have again a total. The receipt, but that's for the customer monitor. And this one advertise. So we have a module called advertisement. It allowed to show some publicity on the screen. Let me just turn it back on. So my customer monitor will show behind my POS. One day or another. So my customer monitor is there. Under POS setup, I can go to advertisement. No, Tom, they really must stay with the name. Tom was asking if we can rename the forms. We really need to leave them with the stars and totals. I do understand it might be confusing, but if we rename them and change them and don't put the stars, they will not behave like they're supposed to anymore. And of course, when I want my advertisement to work, it does not. Well, the advertisement module is being silly with me. I apologize for that. Do I have the option in my license? It's an extra module, so it's not there by default. It doesn't look like I have the option. Let me add it. I do see it. Oh yeah, I'll pause advertisement. It's right there. So, I know I'm missing some Windows update on this machine. It might be the reason why it doesn't want to start. But now it's running, but not showing. Yes, Jimmy, you can do all of that from Mailbus. If you go to module POS setup, you have exactly the same option that I was using in the POS. I prefer to use the POS on my side. You also have access to the ads window if you need to. That's why I don't have the pictures. That's why it doesn't work. I see. So yeah, I'm missing the picture on the back office. So that's why I'm having a hard time to make it work. So, but yes, you have all the same option. The only thing that you can do from the POS is really to play with the peripherals. So pin pad, scanner, scale, poll display if you're using them. Okay, and does it make sense to you guys what we saw on forms and their specificity? Do you have any question? After that, we'll go in depth with the buttons on how they work. Good. If you think of something while I'm talking, don't hesitate to write in the chat, or even you can raise your hand in Teams, or open your microphone and talk directly. It's all okay. So if we go with the buttons now, by default, I show you the type of button that we have. We all have a very squarish POS. Let's go to, let's say we have small, medium, and large. This is currently medium. That can be changed, but there is 3 style of button that we can use in the POS. To change the style of button, there's 2 ways of doing it. The first one is to go to the MN button at the top here. MN stands for menu. Is it that what I said? Am I where I? Yeah, menu. I'm all right. Under button, I have the option to change my button style. I can go here. That's the 3 style that we have by default. So right now we're using the one that we call pure, which is a French word for pure, with the E at the end. We have the round and the square. So if I select the round and I do OK, it will change all my buttons at once. So now all my buttons in my setup are round. If I exit my setup right now, we look at it on the POS, my POS look like that. I still have my great pink section. So that's the round one. There is also, if you want to set your own images on the button, as you can see, let me just go back to the screen. At the bottom here, the arrows are not considered like buttons. They are images that are assigned to the button. So if I go back to buttons and form, I hope it let me. Yeah. I can do on my keyboard if I'll just verify before I do it. I can do on my keyboard Alt C. So if I press Alt and C, now I'm in the customize button. So I can change the 8 as like I want. I can use the rule here to make the button a different size. If I right click on it, I have more options. So I can I have the description for sure that I can enter. I have the style, so it can be normal, borderless, toggle, etc. There's different options. I can change my background. So right now it's a solid color, which is gray. I can put it to a great pink. I can change the font of my text to something very beautiful, as you can see behind. But if I don't want to use, let's say, a solid color, I can change it to be a picture clip. Yes, Brendan, you need to do Alt C on your keyboard. Yeah, okay. So here I can change it to a picture. So I can define a picture when the button is not pressed, which stands for up. I don't have a lot of option here, but let's be crazy. Since I have many, so let's put it like this. So the button will be Visa when it's up, and when it's down, I will set it to be Boston lettuce. It will not be beautiful, I can tell you that. So now you can see that I have a great Visa icon. I can do more beautiful thing with if I take the time. I can hear it. So you can see when I press it, it's becoming my lettuce. When I release it, it's going back to my Visa. If I go to my Uber Eats form, and the Alt C is very per button. So if you cannot do it for all of them. So if you decide to have some button that are customized and you want to set the size and set the picture, they will be. So here, question mark. So when I press it, it reacts like my Boston lettuce, and I'm putting exclamation mark in my buff. So let's go to something that is better. I'll go back and I'll change again my button style to the pure one because they are a little bit better than the round one. That's my own opinion here. As you can see, I'm not that great with design. I believe you asked that question yesterday, Luca, right? Or maybe it was someone else, but you can go to task, to deploy screen, execute, yes, and here you will be prompted to select the lane you want to do it at. So right now I only have one lane, but if I add the 2 lanes, it will show O1 and O2, and I can select the lane that I want. That's also a good practice to do a backup, and it can be done easily from the back office before you do the change. I lost my mouse. I'm so sorry. Oh, here it is. So I'll cancel that. That's a very good practice to back up before. In any situation, I always recommend it. Do you guys have any question on buttons and everything, or generic question? We have some. We're a little bit in advance now, so if you want me to go back on something or to re-show you something, I have the time. We have the time. And if you don't have any question, it's good too.
So I have a question about looking here in the sample database. There's tenders for like Visa, MasterCard, um, debit, credit. Do you have a way to program a button that the cashier can press? In some old systems we've done, it's called smart tendering, where the PIN pad basically decides how it's going to process that transaction.
Yes, actually, Crystal, we do. So depending the bank, for the US market, they are all doing it now. So DataCap or NCR connected payment, we have one button for debit, credit, EBT, EWIC. Everything will go through one button in the system, so you don't have to program one. And automatically, when the transaction will come back, it will be analyzed and converted in the report to show American Express, Discover, Visa, Mastercard. So yeah, it will be one unique button. Is it answering your question?
Yeah, is that in our sample database, what it's called, or?
Let me see. I'll take a look. No, it will not be in the default system. So let me. I can do one for you if you want. To create it, I will call it tender equal bank. Well, card. That's large card. I'll know how to type at some point. And then just for all the Canadian person in the training, that will not apply to you. It also exists, but the configuration will be a little bit different. Carte. So the function that we will add, it will be even though it's a button for everything, it will still be credit card. So it will be function 104. And in the button, when we use a bank, we have a section here called card argument. So all the card arguments are part of the help file, and they are also tomorrow when I'll show you the peripherals, I'll show you where they are showing, but they are part of the software, and you can add them in the help file. So for the unique button, the card argument, even if you're Canadian or in the US, the card argument is always card. It's just that the function will be a little bit different for the Canadian market, but the card argument will be card. To let it know that we're using a bank, we will set authorization center to yes. And you will select the bank that we're using. So if you're in the for DataCap, it will be DCAP EMV US, and for NCR connected payment, it will be Microtrax. So I believe the most of the time RDS are using. Bradley, I see all your question. I'll be back to you in a sec. Most of the time in the US, well, RDS are using, I think, NCR connected payment. That's the most common that you guys are using. But if you go with DataCap also, it's possible. But that will be the configuration for NCR connected payment for that button. Is it answering your interrogation, Crystal?
Yeah, so then that's going to handle food stamp as well, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
A gift card if you're using gift card too
Okay.
with the processor.
All right.
Forgot to
Thank
mention
you.
that. You're welcome. I will go to Bradley question. You would like me to create a restrict button? Sure, we can do that. For manager approval, following comment that smart tender key, do the customer have to wait until that key is pressed by cashier before they can insert their card into the chip slot? Here, it depends again if you're going with DataCap or Microtrax. With Microtrax, we do have the quick chip, so you can enter the card at the beginning of the transaction, even if the cashier did not press the button. In the case of DataCap, they must wait for the cashier to press the card button so they can insert the card in the PIN pad. Final question on that topic. If a manual entry is required, is that done only on the PIN pad? Yes, it's only on the PIN pad, so we don't have any card information, so we are PCI and safe. Yes, NCR connected payment quick chip is available, yes. Am I answering all the question clearly? That's a good question, Tom, for cashback. I just want to make sure Bradley's okay with my answer. Okay, for cashback, there is two ways of doing it. In the button itself, we have an option that we can configure. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, okay, here, cash out required. So you can set it to yes. I will show you how it looks. Let me add the button to the POS. So cash out required to yes. I don't have a bank right now, so there won't be real verification. But if you were having, oh, not the right screen. If you were having a credit card and you did cash back, it will be blocked by the PIN pad and the POS. So if the customer is asking for cash back, it will be refused. If you're going with a debit, it will work. So there is two options for cashback. The first one is the one that I just showed you with the common at ready that doesn't show but try to load no matter what. If I do an item and I press my button that I made for card, okay. If I do any, it will ask me the cashier to enter the cashback, so I can put $20. I don't have a bank, so it will not work. Let me. I went to peripherals. Tender equal card. I'll just remove my authorization center since I don't really have a PIN pad. Tomorrow I can have one from DataCap if you guys want to do some tests. I think I do have one card working, and I think I had one last week, so no one can steal it from me. So card, I can do $20 cash back. So when it will go to the PIN pad, the amount will be $22.29, and the customer, when the transaction will be complete, the cashier will be able to give the change back as $20. There is also the basic option. So if I do a transaction of an item, again, my total is $229. I go to my payment screen, and the customer tell me he wants $40 in cash back. I can do $42.29 and press debit, and it will give the $40 and change. So it's an over tender. Is it answering your question, Tom? Yes. Yes, Crystal. I haven't worked with the my NCR connected payment device since a long time. I remember we can add the prompt when we're tendering the transaction there with NCR. So you can add the pin pad will ask, do you want CAD Bash? Yes or no? And if it's answer yes, it will go through the pin pad. With DataCap, this is not a feature they support as we speak, but with NCR, we can have the prompt on the pin pad. Oh, why is my Outlook on the screen? I'm so sorry. As you can see, I'm getting spammed by email. And for today, the last, well, if you don't have any other question on buttons, oh, I'm having a hard time to open the right window. I'm so sorry. If you don't have any question on buttons and forms for now, I will go back to LBoss to show you. Here we have at the bottom, just on top of the exit button, a program called Tracker. Tracker is the deluxe version of the receipt details. So this will show all the receipt from the POS like they were at the moment of the transaction. So you see all the items. There's no time limit. So if the store was open since 10 years, you can show the information since 10 years. And it will list all of the receipt there. You can go through them. You can use some research. So you can search for text, amount, PU number, function, totalizer, anything. You also have some print. Yes, Kenneth, I'll show you journal right after. On my side, I do have the license for Tracker. So when you don't have the option, instead of showing Tracker, it will show journal. So that's the advanced version of journal. That's how it looks. So the research is a little bit different. If for the one of you that doesn't have the option, it will be Tracker. How do I do that already? Okay. No to run EJ. So here is the electronic journal that you guys are using. So you also have a search that you can trigger by pressing the search button at the bottom here. For the date selection, you can only select starting date. There's no end date that can be selected with the journal. So I can select, well, this was installed Monday, so I can select today. If I want to search for text, I can type in Oreo and do my search. If it doesn't find it on that day, I can do search again, and it will go through each day. Why don't you give me the other option? Maybe I'm too far away. If I go to Monday and I do search, do you want to search in the following day? So it will search from the day you selected to right now. So if I do yes, it will find me all the results that include Oreo. Doesn't seem to be a lot. Oh, I changed the name to item to sell. Being silly, sorry. Item. If I search now, search in the following day, yes. So that's item to sell. Under print, I have an option to print the search results. So if I do that, it will generate a report based on the search result. So it will show me all the transaction with the item in it and highlight the information. That's a few pages report, so 5 pages. So I see all the information. You can set conditions. So if you want to look for an item and or a cashier, so I can enter my cashier, which is my name. I can do the search based on that too. So it will respect, well, it will find all the transactions since I'm, that's funny. That it show my Jello, well, item to sell. Let me make my research more precise. So here it's the cashier, the item to sell, and the cashier is myself, cashier Dominique that we see at the top here. I can add a third requirement if I want. well, let's go with an item. Where is it? A PLU number. If I go with the PLU number, I can see all the transactions that I've done with my coupon. If you're planning to use a signature capture, you will have to use Tracker. The journal does not support signature capture, so if you're going to use signature capture, it's really important to go with the Tracker. Oh, here it doesn't find it. Oh, I don't know if I need the 0 or not. Not being lucky. But that's how the journal works. On my side, I do prefer quite a lot the Tracker, since the research is more precise and detailed. By tender, getting my mouse back, I'm sorry. Well, you can use either the function or the totalizer. If I go back to the journal, so we can know. So I also have here the option function and totalizer. So when I go to maintenance register function, I can search for the description. So cache. So cache is function 101. So if I go to my here, I select function, I type in function number beside the field that match that 101. Select the date and search. It will find me all the transactions that are using cache. So did I use debit earlier? So if my memory is good, debit will be function 103. Yeah, debit card. So today, on the 27th, I use function 103 for debit, and I can look for the function. So here is a debit card that I did my over tender earlier. Is it answering your question here, Melissa? Again, if you do it with Tracker, well, wait, I should not stop closing both. I can run the two programs at the same time. I don't need to close them. So here Tracker, of course, it also offers the option for a function to search by function. So I can search as of today, function number 103, search, and it brings me the transaction that I use for over tender. Yes, if there was a card in the transaction, the information will show from the bank. The slip will be at the bottom here, and you can use the four last digit of the card to search. It will work too. But instead of using function, you will use text, because it will be part of the receipt. There's no field assigned to that. I'm not sure, Kenneth, to know what is a register report, but if you say so, I do agree with you. Yes, correct. So it lists the details of every transaction, but it also show there is an option, let's say, for the customer to not show the void, so we can suppress the void. So on the journal, if an item was void or removed from a transaction, on the physical receipt, it might not show for the customer, but on the journal, it will still be there. And again, just to be clear, there's no limitation. So this information is kept forever in the system. So it never expired. I can show quickly, Zoran, the monitor. So that's under module monitor. It's so simple that I will only need 2 minutes to show you that. So monitor is a program that we can use to see what the cashier is doing at right now. So we can open and see the lane. It can also be transcribed to a DVR system. No, not DVR. why do I don't remember the name? To the camera system. So right now, as you can see, that's my lane 1, and I can go to my POS. Oh, sorry, customer monitor is showing. And if I scan PLU2, well, we see what I'm doing on the monitor. Bradley, with DataCap, we do support tokenization. With connected payment, I'm not 100% sure. I will be saying that we don't need it with the NCR connected payment, but that's something I can see to confirm with the team. Oh, well, I know that DataCap, we don't need the card. That's I'm 100% sure since I did the certification. I haven't done the one for NCR. I'll have to verify. As we speak, Zoran, the only information that we have in Monitor is really the receipt information that is entered by the cashier. So if the cashier, we don't see which button are being pressed by the cashier. It's only what we have on the receipt form. So as you can see here, it's scrolling down. So I scan this item. If I void it using the error correct button, where are you? Here. So it client monitor, customer monitor. So we see, but we don't see if the customer, the cashier highlight anything in specific. But if I error correct, oh no, I didn't already void this one. So addressing error correct, it will show it. Yeah, the VNC do the same thing. You're connected there. I know also yesterday some of you were requesting some information on the report, so I'll try to do a quick overview of the report. It will not be, I like to go through all of them, but I'll try to stick to the minimum. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike, I just saw your question. Function in the DVR feed. If someone reboot LBus, they wouldn't restart the monitor. Is there a way to set it up? There's no way to set it up as a service. We do have a batch file like we can run that will start the LBus every time you start the computer. There's also a registry key that you can set to force the login into Windows when the computer restarts by itself. So what we recommend is really to set up the registry key for the login to be done on the computer. The batch file that will start LBus and make sure that the SQL server is running, and that will also start monitor. And you set up a very short delay so the computer get locked again. Of course, if there's a power outage, it's difficult to have someone there to reactivate everything. So I think with the batch file and the registry key, we're able to bypass this situation. It can be annoying, otherwise, if the information is not being redirected, there's no way to catch it back since it's being recorded at the same time it's being filmed. So for the report, I'm sorry, do you guys have any other questions for monitor buttons or function before a tracker journal? Sorry, before I go to the report, or are you guys all okay? And also, if you see that I'm not maybe giving enough information to your question, or it's not precise enough, don't hesitate to send me an email after the training, or tomorrow, or even after next week. If you have any clarification that you're looking for, I'll be happy to answer them. If I have the time for sure, but I'll get back to you. I guarantee it. If we go to the report, so the most popular report is this one here, the end of day. This report show it. We can also call it financial report, but let's just show that the end of day is the detail of the sales done at the store. So all the lanes by default. So we have each information details, the tender we use. So as you can see, I use my Uber Eats, I used debit card earlier, the in drawer, the overshort. There is an information section, so it shows the quantity of cancel order, the average per sales per customer, the number of items per customer. stuff like that. We also have the inventory that we did, so physical count, adjustment, and receiving that I tested with you guys. They are also showing here. The only cashier that worked was myself. Department information. There you have a very near cousin called the financial report. So under the financial section, financial report end of day look nearly the same. Actually, there is only one thing that is different, and it's at the end of the day. At the top, there's an extra section. So let me just show you for yesterday. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's on the end of day. I did it the wrong way. So if I go on the end of day, here we have the POS total. So it's like the odometer on your car. It tracks all the sales that you've done since the store was open, and it showed that at the top. It's that's on the end of day. On the financial, you will not have it, but the end of day, if you see that there is a big difference from one day to another, you can guess that someone did a cancel sale or a refund that didn't make sense. There was an error, so that's just to show an idea of the total made in the store. For batches, we have a few reports. So I don't remember who asked it yesterday, but for batches, if you want to see batch by PLU, so we can do this report and it will show the profit based on the batch. I don't know if I have batch starting on or after. To do it last week, and I will go with the promo batch. I did one for training, so that's the sales that I've made. The batch by PLU report. So no, that's just the price. So I see the price, not what I wanted to see. PLU sales by batch. I'm so sorry. And I'll go with the one. For that report, sometimes there is comment. So as we can see for this one, I need to activate an option called maintain PLU batch name. So when I do that, the way it works is that at the POS, when we will be doing the sales of the item that is part of a promotion, it will write down in the database the name of this promotion. By default, it's not on because when the person who made the software a long time ago, maintain PLU batch name, maintain, space was very rare. Right now, we don't have the same limitation with the current hard drive that we have. But back in the days, it was a problem. So the option is still manual since it was manual for all our other customer. I know there is a project in the work to make this automatic in the future and not have to activate it manually. I'll just make sure to deploy my item with a promotion. Oh, here I have a sales. So I'll use item 2 for the training. This one is discounted with the batch. Complete the sale. I'll wait 12 seconds. So now we can see my, if I stop clicking everywhere, it will be better. So I can see that during this batch, I sold these items for this batch. Another report that is very popular is the cashier sales. So it shows all the sales by cashier. So I'm the only cashier here again, but we see the detail that I've done on my side. If there was multiple cashier for the store, they will be all listed there. So they will be seen, they will all be on the report, not just myself. The employee work hour details and the employee work hour summary, I will show you that tomorrow. So I will not say more. Under clients, it's really the list of transactions that were made by clients. So the point accumulated, the charge made. If you want to see the transaction by client, it's also there. But that's working in correlation with the customer account. If you want department sales, some ECL report that you can use with the coupon that we created yesterday. So the ECL, you can see the promotion that are currently configured in the system. For the one using eWIC, we can see the item lists coming from the state report. So you can look for items to see if they are eWIC applicable or not when you get the files from the state. So the APL file, when it's loaded in LBOS, you can also consult it and see which items are part of the eWIC program and see if one is not part of it. Inventory. Movement report is one that we use frequently. Just to show you how it looks. So that's all my vendor. It would list your items. So it lists all the transactions that were made. If there was a count or receiving, transfer, adjustment, and everything, it will be on this report. A receiving summary is good too. So you see all the receiving per item and how many that were done. I'm sorry, Siri just activated on my phone. So that's the receiving summary. So I only did receiving today, but that list by item, by vendor, and after that by item, oh no, that's just by vendor. There's no item there. So it's the total of each invoice. I'm sorry. Stock value. The difference between average cost and current cost. Average cost is the landed cost, so the unit landed cost that I showed you earlier today. The current cost is the one configured in maintenance item. No, that's monitor. That's not maintenance. Item cost. So the current cost, it's the one here. So it's using the unit cost. And the average cost is the landed unit cost. So the two reports show the same information, but they are not basing the stock value on the same thing. If you want to print labels, we have pre-made labels that you can customize, add some field, remove fields. If they are available in the system, we can do it. PLU sales to see PLU, how much you sold of each items. You can have it either per day or per item. Sub-department sales, similar to the department, but it show the so AR manual entries, it's 0, but it stands for if I do, let's say, for grocery, I press the button for the sub-department manually and I enter an amount, $20 cash. If I take my report again, it will show under manual entry 1 because it was entered by the cashier and not coming from an item. Here, 1. And that concluded for today. Do you have any question? I don't, in this training, I don't show how to do label configuration. I can show you, Mark, how to configure the printing. But the labels, the way it works, the report, here, I'll have it type C, which one is very popular. So we can either do it by single PLU or modified PLU. Single PLU, you will select the item from the list. When we are saying modified, what the system will be looking at under the POS tab, it's looking for the checkbox here print. So it will only list the one that have the type C in this box and the print check. So if I go here and I do modified PLU only, preview, I have all my lists, so I can set them all to 1, or I can leave some at 0. It's okay. So I tell it where on my paper it starts. This one is not a continuous, so it's a full-size paper. So if I have already labeled print, I can tell it where to start. In this case, let's say I have a brand new paper, and it will show the item. There should be barcodes. I probably have an urgent message telling me you're missing BC font. So that's something we can get from our knowledge base. BC font that need to be installed. So it's the barcode fonts. But by default, there will be one. Now I don't have it installed. So I can always install it, but I need to restart. So I will not do it right now. But that's how the barcode work. And if you want to define a specific printer to print your label, and you don't want to use the 8.5 by 11 to print the report, you can right click on the report, go to property, and on the printers box here, you can assign a specific printer for that. I don't have a lot of printer here, but you can assign a printer to use for I'll say it at some point for for the label. So if you have a continuous paper, we can define the printer and we can do the settings for that. But for the how to set labels and the step by step, it is not part of this this training. It is something that I give separately. So if you're interested, I can always register you for that, and I can get in touch with you the next time I will be giving it. But if you have question and need help on how to configure one in the meantime, I can do it with you. Daniel is asking, is there a list of handheld scanner that are compatible with Logivision? To find out, Daniel, the scanner that are compatible with Logivision, it's really simple. The list is in the software itself. So I'll go ahead. That will be something for tomorrow normally. But if you go to peripherals on the POS setup peripherals, scanner, when you're using serial connection, you select scanner DLL. That's what we recommend. And here we have all the list of the scanner that we use. It also includes some scanner scales, but not just handheld. But everything that we use on serial is there. At the POS, you can also go with the keyboard wedge USB. There's no mandatory. I'm sorry. If you go with keyboard wedge USB, it will also work. Doesn't matter which model you're using. But if you want to go serial, it's better to go with the one that we have on our list. And just to continue, sorry, I'm going back to Mark. I can show you the interface to customize. So if you remember, I went here to type C properties. I can customize the report with the label. So there is an SQL that will list the field. That seems scary, but it's simpler than it looked like. And if you want to change the way it look on the label itself, you can just move the field, right click to modify the font. That's the barcode not showing. You can add extra fields. So if you're looking for something else, you have the list of fields. So you want to add the tax flag, you select it, and it will add it to the label. Well, I don't have a lot of space right now since there's many things already there, but that's how we modify usually the label. Yes, Remy, we can use the scanner in the inventory module. And that will be also tomorrow, yes. Do you have any other question? Oops. Sorry, I lost the screen. So if we don't have any other question, it's over for today, and we'll see all of you tomorrow. Yeah, sorry for yesterday. I went 5 minutes over, so I'm trying to catch up today. So we will see. I'll see all of you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time again. Bye bye.